What is going on, folks? Welcome to another day back at the channel. I did try to bring a video up, but then I was trying to edit it and it just wasn't going to turn out because we were going to try to put the traction bars from the second gen onto the third gen. However, the frame's a little bit different. Can't bolt them on, and I don't have a welder, so there's that. However, we're going to do a video today about what it's like to daily drive a third gen. I've daily driven both of these trucks, and then I got this truck and was been rebuilding this truck for a little while now. So, yep, we're gonna basically just be talking about this one thing right here, but we're gonna get her started. Something I like to do, especially since this is a brand new transmission in here, is I like to put it in neutral while she warms up. You get more fluid flow that way. That's just something I've been doing because I mean I only have like 700 miles in this transmission, so. Defrost on. Oh yeah, my glow shit. Woo! Such a professional gauge, guys. It's just what I had laying around. So, but yeah, I am planning on doing some upgrades to this. Ignore the trash in the corner here. I do plan on doing 4th gen seats and a couple other stuff, redoing the floor and everything like that. Hopefully this winter. I want to park this truck this winter and I want to get ripped into it, but yeah. I don't have a hood stack, but I don't have a full length exhaust either. I have a side exit. Pretty loud, I will say, especially on that cold start. But luckily, because it's behind the cab, it's actually not too loud. It's not too bad. But yeah, we're gonna let her warm up, do her thing, and then I still gotta put it in neutral. But I'm gonna go ahead and grab my stuff and grab my lunch for work, and then we're gonna go ahead and we'll do a video on what it's like to daily drive a third gen. Heck yeah. What is going on, ladies and germ farts? Today we're talking about what it's like to daily drive a third gen, otherwise known as turd gens. No, I'm just kidding. We're gonna go over some pros, and then we'll go over some cons, and then we'll kind of talk about like my personal opinion a little bit in there and after. So some pros: you got the 5.9 and the 6.7 common rail platform. Another pro: you have a good looking truck. Another pro, you have the AM axles, pretty good axles for the most part. And another pro is a lot of people race these trucks, so you have pretty much whatever parts you want available to you, whether you're rebuilding a stock motor or you're going all the way to 3,000 horsepower. There are companies, D&J makes some stuff, concrete filled blogs and billet blogs to get all the way up to that kind of power level. If that's something that you guys are trying to do. So you, in the future, if you're on that horsepower hungry chase, so that's something to kind of consider with these trucks is you have more upgradability out of them than a Power Stroke or a Duramax. Nobody's made a Power Stroke or a Duramax at 3,000 horsepower yet. Cummins has done it more than once, so there is that. Another pro is you have larger brakes front and rear. Not a brand new truck, but then the second gens had really bad brakes versus the third gens have great braking. Another pro is you have a pretty nice going ride with these trucks, because you have a coil spring front with a control arm style suspension with the shock going through the coilover, which is the same as the second gens. And actually the second gen 4-wheel drive trucks rode better than the early 7.3 and later 7.3 OBS trucks, because those 4-wheel drive trucks had leaf spring front rear, so they rode pretty stiff. Now Chevy has its independent front that it's had forever, so they kind of outperformed everybody with ride quality, but they had some axle problems, so that's something to consider as well. Now, for some other pros is, I think these trucks are really comfortable, but that's kind of opinionated. bought this truck back in May. I didn't start driving it till June, but as soon as I touched down in mainland from Hawaii, I had bought this truck blind and I drove it 1,600 miles, no problem, no questions, no sweat, no nothing. Pretty comfortably with two kids and a bed full of stuff when we PCS from Hawaii. So that's something else to think about too. Comfortability, they are really comfortable. Like I said, I drove from Huntsville, Alabama, all the way up to Muncie, Indiana, and that was like a 7.5, 8 hour drive on one part of the leg that we made in our journey, and I was pretty comfortable the whole time. I mean, I was obviously, when you start driving that long, you get stiff and stuff like that, but I felt like I could have sat here for another 5, 6 hours, no problem, no questions asked. So I'm pretty confident in their comfortability. Couple other pros is, with a good looking truck, parts are just readily available. If you buy a truck above the salt belt, like where I'm at in Michigan, pretty much anything above the Ohio River is the salt belt. If you just take the bottom where the Ohio meets the Mississippi and draw a line straight across the United States, anything above that's pretty much the salt belt. With that, the trucks rust out pretty fast. That is a major con, is the salt on the roads will eat your rockers away, will eat your cab corners away, and you'll be certain to have the top of your fender wells eaten out. Now for guys down in the south, the clear coat not that great on these trucks, so the sun just bakes that clear coat right off these trucks. It's kind of a con. However, I mean, I'd rather have my clear coat baked off than rust holes to try to patch. And luckily, I bought this truck down in the south. Bought this truck from South Carolina. It's been a southern truck its whole life, so it has absolutely no rust on it whatsoever. So there is that too. But like I said, parts readily available. So if you need to get fenders and a bed for it, you can find them dime a dozen, no problem. Another pro / con at the same time is the 48RE transmission. It's a common misconception, guys. The 48s are actually a pretty good transmission, just not stock. Stock 48s are really bad, really kind of poopy. The internals on them just aren't that great. The case is awesome on these transmissions. The case will just hold power all day long. It's the internals that go out. It likes to snap input and output shafts. Not enough. The valve body's not doing its job, and shift solenoid's going out. The overdrive solenoid goes out. The burner solenoid. It's just not very bonito. However, if you put a built transmission in it, you'll never have a problem with it unless you're like 150,000 miles and you're just beating on it like you're racing at the drag strip every weekend. So that's kind of a pro, because as soon as you build these transmissions, you can go all the way up to, like I said, 3,000 horsepower plus transmissions, no problem. Well, not necessarily Randy's transmission. Rudy, that did blow up, unfortunately. They have transmission, or they obviously built transmissions. They have 48REs on their trucks, and they build some pretty nasty stuff. So there is that. It's not hard to make these transmissions hold 1,000. Like if you're daily driving it, you're going up to 1,000 horsepower with your truck, not a problem to build the transmission for it. Be sure to actually tell your transmission builder how much power you're making, though, because, can you lie and you snap an input shaft, that's on you. Not on them. Because they have to know what your power levels are, because if they're going to go ahead and build an input shaft, or they're going to do a bigger shaft, or they're going to do this, or do that, if you just be like, oh yeah, I'm only making like 600, and you just throw a blah billet input shaft in there and you snap it, you're making 1,000 horse. You should have probably said you're making 1,000 horse. So that's something to kind of be sure of. Don't be trying to hide your horsepower levels, okay? From your transmission builder. Your transmission builder is not going to be able to tell the world you have a 1,200 horsepower truck that's going to beat everybody up. So yeah, pro and con there. Now for my personal, experiences, like I said, their truck's really comfortable. The transmission, I just put a built one in this, and I love it. This is a stock motor, never been resealed, never been touched, except for, as people, they're taking a 4-inch from the turbo back. And I mean, this truck runs. She just goes. We do have a really spicy tune in it, where it'll redline at 3,800 RPM right now. Kind of just put that spicy sauce on her. for a factory truck so we can do some nasty burnouts over the weekend because we are going to be participating in a couple things this weekend, like burnout comps at Mid Michigan Mania. So that's something to look out for, guys, too. Hopefully, I can get this video up tonight so you guys can see all that fun stuff and zazz. Now, for another thing that I really like about these trucks is they ride, like, I like the ride quality, especially after I lowered my truck. I cut a pull and a quarter out of the front and put different shocks in it. Left my shock tower for now. I do need to swap out to no shock tower in this truck. Uh, I did have to take the front backs, or bump stops off, but I don't have like a hitting, bottoming out issue. I did with the bump stops on. Then for wheel options, you got a ton of wheel options. Dodge has pretty much had the same 8x6.5 look pattern since the 90s, the 80s. I'm pretty sure even. So you don't really have to worry about that. They didn't change that till the 5th gen, so you're pretty much safe there. And I mean, just the amount of parts that I can get for this truck to do whatever I want to. I mean, the options are endless. That's what I really like about it. Hoping to again pull this truck in the garage for the wintertime and eat the front end out of it, build it, and reseal the motor at the same time. I'm actually probably going to do it with the engine still in the engine bay. We'll see how that goes though. Just because I have my other engine going to be sitting on an engine stand and some other stuff going on. Yeah, it's kind of all I have for today, ladies and gentlemen. For what it's like to daily drive a 3rd gen. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe down below, and don't forget to check out the website. If you do see any merch that you do like, please feel free to check that out. We are going to be making some pretty big changes here soon to the website. With merch options, at least we have a graphics designer making some new designs for us, incorporating the 2 business trucks, and we're gonna be going from there, putting that on some stuff that I think that's really sticking around. Or there's a sweatshirt and a long sleeve, and then there is the leggings that are gonna stay the way they are. Everything else is pretty much changing. So something to watch out for, guys. Hope y'all have a good one. See you next time.